Now, to be honest, you've probably all heard about Modern Warfare, so it barely needs an introduction, but it's by Infinity Ward. It's sold the most out of every type of entertainment, and this is my review for it. Now, gameplay is divided into three main modes here. You have single player, campaign, spec ops, and multiplayer. Now, only one out of these three are good. Now, single player is basically not very good at all. I didn't like it. It's very cheesy. I didn't find the levels fun at all. They were too linear, and I mean, it had its moments where you're kind of like, that's kind of cool, but it's just too over the top to enjoy most of the time. I don't know, I found it stupid. It's really short. It's about 6 hours, so it's not really that big of a thing, so whatever. But one mission in it, No Russian, I'm sure you've all heard of it. It involves you working undercover with some terrorists, and you basically have to kill a lot of people at the airport, the innocent civilians in the airport. Now, a lot of people found this really scarring. I didn't at all, because basically, I mean, how long have gamers been butchering innocent civilians in Grand Theft Auto games for fun? That shouldn't be that is much more disturbing than whatever this friggin' game has to offer. And I just don't see people's problem with this scene. It is nothing new to games, and I'm sorry if you find it disturbing, then you obviously haven't been playing games for the past 10 years. Now, another mode, the multiplayer. Multiplayer is basically where Modern Warfare 1 got all its popularity, and that's probably why there was so much publicity surrounding Modern Warfare 2's release. Now, the multiplayer, I understand a lot of people like it, but I really didn't think that much of it. It's basically a lot like the campaign, and it's just a bit bloated, and I mean, it's basically shallow with a lot of coating in it. Go play Doom, honestly. Why do you need all this tomfoolery in your game when really it's just the same thing? You're playing the same thing over and over again. And basically, it's just a grind with other players who are super nerdy, and I don't want to play them, and there's so many campers. I mean, it's so competitive, but it's so lame. Now, I'm sorry, I like some of the maps, I guess, but some of them are kind of dumb, and it's not completely balanced either. And it's just the way it's got its popularity is through elements that don't exist in the intelligent person's brain, okay? It's not a very good multiplayer, I'm sorry. Now, the final part of the game, Spec Ops, is probably my favorite part, to be honest. And it has players, up to 4, I think, completing tasks, small tasks, that some come from the single player, some come from inspired by Call of Duty 4, and these can be anything from like racing snowmobiles down massive slopes to like something pretty normal like killing everybody in the area. I found a particularly fun one on the estate map, and these are just really fun small challenges that can distract you from a shitty campaign and a shitty multiplayer mode. They're basically the only reason why I play this game, to be honest. And yeah, that's the gameplay. I love the Spec Ops. I mean, the Spec Ops is awesome. It's the highlight of the game. The other two modes I wasn't so keen on, to be honest. Now, I'm sorry, this is also an area where I disagree with the main crowd of people. The presentation in Modern Warfare 2 wasn't very impressive, to be honest. From what people had told me. Some of the textures are just complete and utter shit. But I mean, the character models are good. I'll give it that. The gun models look good, but just some of the lighting and just some of the jagged things on things look terrible. Like, have you seen the leaves in this game? They look absolute shit. I mean, I'm glad you can destroy a few things in this game, but the blood looks strange. Everything just looks like, I cannot find the word for it, I'm sorry, but it just looks all grainy and shitty and pixelated in some ways. And when you play the multiplayer, I don't know if it's just multiplayer, because that's mainly what I've been playing, because I've been playing Spec Ops, but just the textures look like absolute shit, and it's just disgusting. I mean, at a distance, some of the screenshots of this game look really, really good. But then when you get up close, it looks like dog spew, you know? Now, I mean, this game isn't terribly looking, but it's kind of good, to be honest. But it just does not exceed my expectations of what I've been told and what other people had said about it. And no, it does not deserve a 9. Some of the things in this game just look like shit. Some of the things look good, though. Yeah, I've skipped out the story because, to be honest, it barely exists, and it's fairly terrible unless you describe it in a certain way. So I'm not going to bother with that. Now, basically, Modern Warfare 2 is not the game of the year. It is not the best game that came out this year, last year. It is not an amazing epic shooter. It's not even like the up in the top 10 games that came out last year. It's a fairly average shooter that has nothing new or innovative to bring to the table. This game did not sell as many copies as it sold because of the talent backing it. It sold it because of the budget backing it. And it's really not a fantastic game. And I'd recommend buying it if you're a dipshit or if you like shooters so much that you brought every shooter and you have to buy it. Okay, that's me.